Hey guys, we are here again. We are here again. Is the screen looking blurry to you? Because I'm looking at what you can see over on my other screen and it looks very blurry. So I don't know whether that's just me or whether that's everyone. But hopefully it clears up. So we've got a yes and a no. Hopefully it clears up. That's weird. I don't know why it's doing that. It's blurry. Huh. Hopefully it clears up. It's probably something to do with my internet. So if my internet goes down, I'll be straight back. Okay. All right. Well, the hearing, the Brian Kohberger made it to Idaho late last night, and his first initial court appearance in Moscow, Idaho, is in an hour's time. So it's 9:30 a.m. Pacific time, which is 5:30 p.m. my time. So we've got an hour to wait. However, I wanted to come on early to have a chat and to show you some things, debunk some things as well. Now, I did a live very early, very early. I'm just gonna refresh on my other screen and see whether that helps. Hold on. No, I'm still seeing blurs. Oh, no, it's clearing up. It's clearing up. It looks clearer now. Okay, that's good. That's good. I just needed to refresh for whatever reason. Okay. So, yeah, I did a live very early. Oh, it's gone blurry again now. That's weird. That's weird. Can you hear me okay? The most important thing is that you can hear me okay. It seems to is chat messing up? All right, am I the only one talking? The chat's fine. The chat's running pretty quickly, actually. I might just slow it down a minute. I'll just slow it down a bit. Bear with me just a second. This is why I came on an hour early, to make sure we iron out all of these issues. Right, I'll slow the chat down to 30 seconds. So it means that you can only post a comment once every 30 seconds. Unless you're a channel member, channel members can post away as much as they want to, because that's the way that YouTube works. That slow mode doesn't affect members, but it slowed down the chat a little bit more. Okay. So as long as you can hear me fine, that's all that matters for this moment in time. And my son's just come in. He's been to the gym.
Your bodybuilder son.
Oh, it says my bodybuilder son has arrived. He's not a bodybuilder in any way, shape or form. That's wishful thinking on his part. But he's been to the gym. Okay, so for those just coming in, the initial hearing in Latah County Courthouse is in 1 hour's time. So that's 9:30 Pacific time and 5:30 my time. So I've come on early to iron out any problems and to have a chat. Oh, good. You can see everyone else now, only grand. That's good. That's good. Jean says, I passed by the gym. Does that count? Yes, that counts. That counts. Brenda's son is also at the gym. That's good. Oh dear. So yeah, I did a live very early, the early hours of my time, and there were some discrepancies that I was seeing, and we talked about, for those of you who didn't see it, we talked about whether it's true that the police stops, so the 2 police stops in Indiana, were actioned by the FBI to get a look at his hands and to just get him on camera. And that came out, but the day before that, the law enforcement in Indiana had issued a statement saying that they weren't aware. They weren't aware. Yeah, Robin, my son's hysterical. Yeah, that's one word for him. Who's been a member for 12 months? Dawn, member for 12 months. So happy to be a member. Oh, thank you, Dawn. So yeah, they'd issued a statement saying they weren't aware of who he was. Like there was no license plate or any, other than they were looking for a white Hyundai Elantra. There was no information that had been issued about the suspect or about the details of that vehicle other than its make and model and colour. So we talked about that on the live, and they have issued another statement. If I can find it now, but they have issued another statement saying, it's a while ago. Oh, look, that's all we're seeing at the moment in the court records. That is true, because I keep checking the court records, but I'll come on to that. I can't find it now because it's jumped, but there was a statement issued saying that the FBI did not action these 2 police stops. So there's that. That's one thing. Also, the smiling mugshot. Again, it's probably way down this now. But the smiling mugshot of him that people are posting is not the actual mugshot. It's not the actual mugshot. guys, not the actual mugshot. Okay. This is the actual mugshot. So we talked about that as well. That's the actual mugshot. Mummy of Hamsters, member for 5 months. Thank you for keeping us informed. You're very welcome. Oh, blah, blah, blah. I can't say your name. Member for 20 months. Wow, that's amazing. You really must have been one of my first members. I didn't even know I had members for that long. I didn't know I'd have membership for that long. But yeah, that's his actual mugshot. So there's things going around that are blatantly untrue. Blatantly untrue. But what we're hoping, yeah, his usual poker face, absolutely RS, yeah. What we are hoping is that the probable cause affidavit is released. Probable cause document has been posted. Has it? Has it? Where is it? Where is it? Can somebody email it to me? Hold on, I'll put my email in chat. I can go and hunt it down on the court website, but while I'm live, that becomes quite difficult. Right, this is my email address. If someone can email it me, then we can read it through. It'll be on the My Courts Idaho website. But if it's been posted, I need it. I've even got a new thumbnail. But the news was... Oh, it has! It has! Oh, blimey, documents are live! Documents are live. Please can somebody email it to me? The document is live. Right, I'm going to change my thumbnail on this stream. Give me a moment. It's all going down. It's all going down. All right. Somebody, please go to the court's website and email it to me. I need it. I need it. I need it right now. Right now. Oh, it's not changing. It's not changing. Oh, no. Right, I'm going to change the title as well. Bear with me, guys, a second. I don't even know whether I can change it midstream, but we'll see. But we'll see. Hold on. I'll be with you in one moment. One moment. But if somebody can email me the document, that would be great, because we can read it through together for the very first time. I'm seeing journalists tweeting about it, but I need the document. I can't use this keyboard. Probable cause affidavit released. Will it change or not? Maybe it will. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. So the journalists are posting screenshots of it, but I need the actual... Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it, guys. If it will actually load. We've got it. We've got it. I'm just waiting for it to load. So what you're seeing, just waiting for it to load. I don't know why it's not loading. Oh, this is exciting. This is exciting. So we've got lots of screenshots. Does it still look blurry on my screen? Seriously. Come on, load, load. My internet is really playing up. It's like just loading a PDF from a website. It's taking forever. It's my internet. This is not good, guys. But I'll read it to you, and hopefully it will clear up in a minute. I mean, this is what I'm seeing on my screen. Here we go. Here we go. Right. All right. It's long. 19 pages in this document. So are we ready to read it? Thank you, Melissa, for becoming a member. Thank you so much. There's nothing I can do about the blur, I'm afraid. There's nothing at all I can do about the blur, which is really, really, really annoying. Really annoying. Please remove the message. I will. We can try refreshing. I can try going out and coming back, but it will. It's good now. Blurry and tiny. I can make it bigger. I can make it bigger. There you go. I can't make it much bigger or else I won't be able to read it. But I'm going to read it to you. So hopefully, what I'll do is I'll turn off the stream on my other computer, and that might help a little bit. But that means I can't see the chat, which will annoy me. Just read it. Okay, right. We're going to read it. We're going to read it. All right. So the below information is provided by Brent Payne, who is duly appointed, qualified and acting peace officer within the County of Latah, State of Idaho. Brent Payne is employed by Moscow Police Department in the official capacity or position of corporal and has been a trained and qualified peace officer for approximately 4 years. Payne is being assisted by members of the Idaho State Police and agents of the FBI. Right, this is where the detail starts. On November 13th, 2022, at approximately 4 p.m., Moscow Police Department, Sergeant Blaker and I responded to 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho, hereafter the King Road residence, to assist with scene security and processing of a crime scene associated with 4 homicides. Upon our arrival, the Idaho State Police forensic team were on scene and were preparing to begin processing the scene. MPD Officer Smith, one of the initial responding officers to the incident, advised he would walk me through the scene. Smith and I entered the King Road residence through the bottom floor door on the north side of the building. Smith and I then walked upstairs to the second floor. Smith directed me down the hallway to the west bedroom on the second floor, which I later learned through Xana's driving license and other personal belongings found in the room was Xana Knodel, therefore called Knodel's room. Just before this room, there was a bathroom door on the south wall of the hallway. As I approached the room, I could see a body, later identified as Knodel's, laying on the floor. So Xana was on the floor, not in bed asleep. She was on the floor. She was deceased with wounds which appeared to have been caused by an edged weapon. Also in the room was a male, later identified as Ethan Chapin, thereafter Chapin. Chapin was also deceased with wounds later determined, autopsy report provided by Stockane County Medical Examiner, to be caused by a sharp forced injuries. So caused by sharp forced injuries. So it doesn't say where he was in relation to the room, but Xana was on the floor. I then followed Smith upstairs to the third floor of the residence. The third floor consisted of 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. Okay. The bedroom on the west side of the floor was later determined to be Kaylee Gonzalez, thereafter Gonzalez room. I later learned from a review of Officer Nuna's body camera there was a dog in the room when Moscow police officers initially responded. So we've learned that Murphy was in Kaylee's room. So Murphy was not in the room, any room where the murders took place. Murphy, the dog, was in Kaylee's room. And they said he was there. He was there when the initial officers arrived. The dog belonged to Gonzalez and her ex-boyfriend, Jack Decore. I found out from my interview with Jack Decore on November 13th, 2022, that he and Gonzalez shared the dog. Smith then pointed out a small bathroom on the east side of the 3rd floor. This bathroom shared a wall with Madison Morgan's, thereafter Morgan's bedroom, which was situated on the southeast corner of the 3rd floor. As I entered this bedroom, I could see 2 females in the single bed in the room. So 2 females in the same bed, so they were both in bed. Both Gonzalez and Morgan were deceased with visible stab wounds. I also later noticed what appeared to be a tan leather sheath lying on the bed. So it was true that a knife sheath was left at the scene. How sloppy. But it wasn't under Ethan. It was in Kaylee and Maddie's room, in Maddie's room. So I'll read that again. I'll read that again. I'm sorry, I'm ignoring chat. I'm just ignoring chat. I don't even know whether I've got any moderators in, so I hope you're behaving. I hope you're behaving. Please behave. Helen, are you a mod? Can I mod you if you're not a mod? Because I trust you, Helen. I'm just concerned I've no mods in. Okay. All you need to do is just delete any spam. I've got it set to subs only, but okay. All right, let's carry on. Let's carry on. Okay, so the sheath of the knife, it was true that a knife sheath was left in the property, but it wasn't lying under Ethan like had been said. It was in Maddie's room. So we'll start from there. I later noticed what appeared to be a tan leather knife sheath lying on the bed next to Morgan's right side when viewed from the door. The sheath was later processed and had K-bar USMC and the United States Marine Corps Eagle Globe and Anchor insignia stamped on the outside of it. So it was a K-bar knife used by US Marines. The Idaho State Lab later looked... Whoa! Michelle yells. The Idaho State Lab later located a single source of male DNA suspect profile left on the bottom snap of the knife sheath. They got DNA from the knife sheath. What an absolute genius this guy was. What an absolute genius. I'd said there's no way in the world that an offender would leave the sheath of his weapon at the scene. But he did, in Maddie's room on the bed. And DNA was taken from the knife sheath. Wow. Boom. Exactly, Betsy. Exactly. Oh, dear me, my heart's beating so fast. As part of the investigation, numerous interviews were conducted with Moscow Police Department officers, Idaho State Police detectives, and FBI agents. 2 of the interviews included BF and DM. We don't know. Oh, I see. That's Bethany and Dylan. Okay. Both were inside the King Rose residence at the time of the homicides and were roommates to the victims. So they've just initialed them, BF and DM, in the documentation. But we know them to be Dylan and Bethany. So, okay. So Bethany's bedroom was located on the east side of the 1st floor. So it doesn't say at the moment where Dylan's bedroom was, but we'll keep reading. Based on numerous interviews conducted by MPD officers, ISP detectives, and FBI agents, as well as my review of evidence, I have learnt the following. So we're now going to go through the background of what led up to the murders from the perspective of the guy writing this. So on the evening of November 12th, 2022, Chapin and Knoddle were seen by BF, so Bethany, at the Sigma Chi house. So it was Bethany who saw them at the Sigma Chi house. That's the frat party on the University of Idaho campus at 735 Nez Pierce Drive from approximately 9 p.m. to 1:45 a.m. on November 13th. So Bethany was at the Sigma Chi frat party. So that's new. She was at the Sigma Chi frat party. She estimated, right, so, okay, Chapin and Knoddle returned to the King Road residence. So she's estimated that they returned at approximately 1:45 a.m. Bethany also stated that Chapin, so Ethan, did not live in the King Road residence, but he was a guest of Xana Knoddle. Gonsalves and Morgan, so Kaylee and Maddie, were at the local bar, the Corner Club, at 202 North Main Street in Moscow. Gonsalves and Morgan can be seen on video footage provided by the Corner Club between 10 p.m. and 1:30 a.m. So 10 p.m. on the 12th and 1:30 a.m. on the 13th. So they were on video footage up to about 1:30. Well, we saw that still from the surveillance video, didn't we? And that was 1:32 a.m. and it looked like they were leaving. So that's obviously where that still came from. At approximately 1:30 a.m., Gonsalves and Morgan can be seen on video at the local food vendor called the Grub Truck. I think it was a little bit later than that. It had to be, but it just says approximately. At 318 South Main Street in downtown Moscow. The Drug Truck live streams video from their food truck on the streaming platform Twitch, which is available for public viewing on their website. This video was captured by law enforcement. A private party, and then that's redacted, reported that he provided a ride to Gonsalves and Morgan at approximately 1:56 a.m. from downtown Moscow in front of the Grub Truck to the King Road residence. So everything that we've heard about them being in the Corner Club, leaving 1:56 a.m. is when they were picked up from near the Grub Truck. So not when they arrived home, it was when they were picked up. So Dylan and Bethany both made statements during interviews that indicated the occupants of the King Road residence were home by 2 a.m. and asleep, or at least in their rooms, by approximately 4 a.m. Okay. This was with the exception of Knoddle, who received a DoorDash order at the residence at approximately 4 a.m. So it wasn't true that they were killed between 3 and 4 a.m. So that came out in the media that they were killed between 3 and 4 a.m. That is not true. That is not true. Xana Knoddle received a DoorDash order at the residence at approximately 4 a.m. Law enforcement identified the DoorDash delivery driver who reported this information. So they were murdered a little bit later than what we hypothesized. So that that news, that rumor about the Elantra being caught on surveillance footage from the garage, like going away is not true, because that was like 3:45. So that must have been not the right car. So Dylan states she originally went to sleep in her bedroom. Oh my word! Dylan was asleep on the second floor. So the information about Dylan sleeping on the second floor was true. Right. Oh my word. Oh my word. Oh my word. I can't believe what I'm reading. Dylan stated she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the south side of the second floor. Dylan stated she was awoken at approximately 4 a.m. by what she stated sounded like Gonzalez playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms, which were located on the third floor. A short time later, Dylan said she heard what she thought was Gonzalez say something to the effect of, "There's someone here." A review of records obtained from a forensic download of Knoddle's phone showed this could have been Knoddle, as her cellular phone indicated she likely awake and using TikTok at approximately 4:12 a.m. Okay, so Kaylee saying there's someone here was probably the DoorDash person. I would imagine. So Dylan stated she looked out of her bedroom but did not see anything when she heard the comment about someone being in the house. Now, there could have been someone in the house in addition. So Xana could have picked up the DoorDash and then there'd be someone else in the house, but let's read on. This is literally, I'm reading it for the first time. This has just come out. So my mind is going like 5 minutes a mile. Okay, that would be slow, wouldn't it? Anyway, Dylan stated she opened her door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying coming from Knoddle's room. What? Dylan then said she heard a male voice say something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." At approximately 4:17 a.m., a security camera located at 1112 King Road, a residence immediately to the northwest of 1122 King Road, picked up distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper, followed by a loud thud. This is insane. A dog can be heard barking numerous times, starting at 4:17 a.m. The security camera is less than 50 feet from the west wall of Knoddle's bedroom. Wow. Dylan stated she opened her door for the third time after she heard the crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. Dylan described the figure as 5'10" or taller, male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. The male walked past Dylan as she stood in a frozen, shocked phase. I can't believe what I'm reading. The male walked past Dylan as she stood in a frozen, shocked phase. The male walked towards the back sliding glass door. Dylan locked herself in her room after seeing the male. Dylan did not state that she recognized the male. This leads investigators to believe the murderer left the scene. So he walked straight by Dylan. He walked straight by her. She was stood in the doorway of her room on the second floor. So she locked herself in. The combination of Dylan's statements to law enforcement, reviews of forensic downloads of records from Bethany and Dylan's phone, and video of a suspect video as described below, so we got more coming, leads investigators to believe the homicides occurred between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. Why didn't she call 911? Well, I don't know. We're not up to that. I don't know. Probably fear. I don't know. Okay, so the murders occurred between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. During the processing of the crime scene, investigators found a latent shoe print. So you got a shoe print. This was located during the second processing of the crime scene by ISP, so Idaho State Police Forensic Team, by first using a presumptive blood test and then amino black, which is a protein stain that detects the presence of cellular material. The detected shoe print showed a diamond-shaped pattern similar to the pattern of a Vans type shoe sole, just outside the door of Dylan's bedroom, located on the second floor. This is consistent with Dylan's statement regarding the suspect's path of travel. I'm sorry if the picture's going in and out. I know some of you are saying it's clear and some of you are saying it's blurry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry if it's just blurry. It's blurry on my screen as well. I don't know what to tell you. This day of all days, and my screen is blurry. It's unreal. Okay. As part of the investigation, an extensive search, commonly referred in law to the video canvas, was conducted of the area of the King Road residence. This video canvas was to obtain any footage from the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022, in the area of the King Road residence, surrounding neighbourhoods, in the effort to locate the suspect's vehicle or vehicles travelling to or leaving from the King Road residence. This video canvas resulted in the collection of numerous surveillance videos in the area from both residential and business addresses. I have reviewed numerous videos that were collected and have had conversations with other MPD officers, ISP detectives, and FBI agents that similarly reviewed footage that was obtained. Okay, so the review of camera footage indicated that a white sedan, hereafter suspect vehicle 1, was observed travelling westbound in the 700 block of Indian Hills Drive in Moscow at approximately 3:26 a.m. and westbound on Steiner Avenue at Idaho State Highway 95 in Moscow at approximately 3:28 a.m. So without looking on the map, I don't know how far away they are from King Road. On this video, it appears suspect vehicle 1 was not displaying a front license plate. So the license plate had been removed. So this suspect had had the foresight to remove the license plate from his vehicle, but had left the knife sheath at the murder scene. Insane, but let's carry on. For those of you who can't see this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to post the link to this in the, I don't know whether it will work, but I'm going to post it in the chat so that you can read along if you want, because if the screen's really blurry, then I just can't believe that this day of all days, my fleming internet is playing up. So, okay. Then we carry on. A review of footage from multiple videos obtained from the King Road neighbourhood. So this is very close now to the King Road residence. Showed multiple sightings of suspect vehicle 1 starting at 3:29 a.m. and ending at 4:20 a.m. It is insane. You're absolutely right. Okay. So in the King Road area, in the neighborhood, between 3:29 a.m. and ending at 4:20 a.m. The sighting shows suspect vehicle 1 makes an initial 3 passes by the 1122 King Road residence and then leaves via Wellenter Drive. So Wellenter Drive is at the back. It's at the back of the residence. Based off of my experience as a patrol officer, this is a residential neighborhood with a limited number of vehicles that travel in the area during the early morning hours. Upon review of the video, there are only a few cars that enter and exit that area during this time frame. So this is absolutely why they said that this was a Hyundai Elantra, because they had it on numerous surveillance videos, but the license plate had been removed. So that's why they didn't know the license plate. So suspect vehicle 1 can be seen entering the area a 4th time at approximately 4:04 a.m. It can be seen driving eastbound on King Road, stopping and turning around in front of 500 Queen Road, number 52. So this must be an apartment complex. And then driving back westward on King Road. So that was at 4:04. When suspect vehicle 1 is in front of the King Road residence, it appears to unsuccessfully attempt to park or turn round in the road. The vehicle then continued to the intersection of Queen Road and King Road, where it can be seen completing a 3-point turn and then driving eastbound again down Queen Road. So we'll have to map all this out because I can't visualize this in my head at the moment. Suspect vehicle 1 is next seen departing the area of the King Road residence at approximately 4:20 a.m. at a high rate of speed. Suspect vehicle 1 is next observed traveling southbound on Wellenter Drive. Suspect vehicle 1 is next observed. Yeah, I've read that. Based on my knowledge of the area and review of camera footage in the neighborhood that does not show suspect vehicle 1 during that time frame, I believe that suspect vehicle 1 likely exited the neighborhood at Palouse River Drive and Conestoga Drive. Palouse River Drive is at the southern edge of Moscow and proceeds into Whitman County, Washington. So heading towards Washington. Eventually, the road leads to Pullman, Washington. Pullman, Washington is approximately 10 miles from Moscow, Idaho. Both Pullman and Moscow are small college towns, and people commonly travel back and forth between them. Law enforcement officers provide video footage of suspect vehicle 1 to forensic examiners with the FBI that regularly utilize surveillance footage to identify the year, make, and model of an unknown vehicle. So they took the surveillance to the FBI. Okay. That observed by one or more cameras during the commission of a criminal offence. The forensic examiner has approximately 35 years law enforcement experience with 12 years at the FBI. His specific training includes identifying unique characteristics of vehicles, and he uses a database that gives visual clues of vehicles across states to identify differences between vehicles. After reviewing the numerous observations of suspect vehicle 1, the forensic examiner initially believed the suspect vehicle 1 was a 2011 to 13 Hyundai Elantra. Upon further review, it's indicated it could be a 2011 to 2016 Hyundai Elantra. So we know that Brian's car is a 2015 Hyundai Elantra. So it fits within the within their kind of, review of what vehicle it might have been. As a result, investigators have been reviewing information on persons in possession of a vehicle that is a 2011 to 16 white Hyundai Elantra. Okay, so investigators were given access to video footage on the Washington State University, oh wow, the Washington State University campus located in Pullman, Washington. A review of that video indicated that approximately 2:44 a.m. on November 13th, 2022, a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of a white Elantra, known as Suspect Vehicle 1, was observed on Washington State University surveillance cameras traveling north on Southeast Nevada Street at Northeast Stadium Way. So again, I don't know where that is, but it's near the Washington State University. Dragonfly Lady, they've redacted the first page. This is what's been released on the court website. This is what's been released on the court website. Okay, so yeah, it was written by Brent Payne, which is normal. Like normally one person is responsible for writing up the documentation. Okay, where was I? Okay, so at approximately 2:53 a.m., a white sedan, which is consistent with the description of the white Elantra, known as Suspect Vehicle 1, was observed traveling southeast on Nevada Street in Pullman, Washington, towards SR 270. So what does that mean? State Road, or I don't know. SR 270 connects Pullman, Washington and Moscow, Idaho. So this vehicle was seen traveling from the area of Washington State University, caught on their cameras, and then traveling. So this was 2:53 a.m. traveling on a road heading towards Moscow. This camera footage from Pullman, Washington was provided to the same FBI forensic examiner. The forensic examiner identified the vehicle observed in Pullman as being a 2014 to 16 Hyundai Elantra. So this vehicle was identified slap bang, right? State Road, thank you, Sandy. Again, Brian's is a 2015 model. Okay, so at approximately 5:25 a.m., a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of Suspect Vehicle 1, was observed on 5 cameras in Pullman, Washington, and on the WSU campus cameras. The first camera that recorded the white sedan was located at 1300 Johnson Road in Pullman. The white sedan was observed traveling northbound on Johnson Road. Johnson Road leads directly back to West Palouse River Drive in Moscow, which intersects with Kohberger Road. I can't say that. Drive. The white sedan was then observed turning north on Bishop Boulevard and northwest on State Road 270. At approximately 5:25 a.m., the white Elantra was observed on cameras traveling northbound on Stadium Way at Nevada Street, Stadium Way at Grimes Way, Stadium Drive at Wilson Road, and Stadium Way at Cougar Way. So there's for those of you that can see this clearly, there's a map which is pretty unclear, but it's showing the cameras. I think what it's showing is the cameras that sighted this vehicle. Okay, so it's a depiction showing white Elantra's path of travel, and it's not to scale. Oh, I see. So it's not a very clear map at all. Not very useful at all. Okay, so this we've got white Elantra seen leaving the WSU campus. White, which is the triangle. So where's that? It's a very unclear map. They could have done better with this map, honestly. But they've got a map anyway. They've got a map of the expected travel of this vehicle. It was Bonnie. It's an awesome job. Yeah. Awesome job. So we then go to November 25th. So I think that's the information we're going to get about the actual crime scene and the evidence that they had linking the Elantra. So we're moving on. We're moving on to November 25th. Let me just take a drink. This is one of the most detailed probable cause affidavits I have ever read. It's astonishing. I'm actually just going to download it in case it gets... I've not even downloaded it myself. I'm just downloading it so that I've got it. All right. Let me just check that. Yeah, I've got it. Because who knows? The judge might seal it. Who knows? Thank you. I can't read your name. Tahela. Thank you so much for the 199. It's very kind of you. Okay. So let's carry on. On November 25th, 2022, Moscow Police Department asked area law enforcement agencies to be on the lookout for a white Hyundai Elantra in the area. On November 29th, 2022, at approximately 12:28 a.m., Washington State University police officer Daniel Tiengo queried white Elantras registered at Washington State University. So this was back in November 29th. November 29th. So only 16 days after the murders, they were honing in on Washington State University. So as a result of that query, he located a 2015 white Elantra with a Pennsylvania license plate, LFZ 8649. This vehicle was registered to Brian Kohberger. So the vehicle was registered to him, not his parents, registered to him with a Pennsylvania license plate. Boom. Boom. They've got every single connection, it looks like. Every single connection. And they had, just think about this, they had all of that information very early on. Very early on. So November 29th, they located a vehicle, 2015 model, of a white Elantra, registered to Brian Kohberger, residing at 1630 Northeast Valley Road, apartment 201, Pullman, Washington. 1630 Northeast Valley Road is approximately 3/4 of a mile from the intersection of Stadium Way and Cougar Way, last camera location that picked up the white Elantra. The same day, so we're still November 29th, at approximately 2:58 a.m., Washington State University officer Curtis Whitman was looking for white Elantras and located a 2015 white Hyundai Elantra at 1630 Northeast Valley Road in Pullman in the parking lot. 1630 Northeast Valley Road is an apartment complex that houses Washington State University students. Officer Whitman also ran the car, and it returned to Kohberger with a Washington tag. Now, we do know that 5 days after the murders, he changed the license plate from a Pennsylvania tag to a Washington tag. So this license indicates that Kohberger is a white male with a height of 6 foot and weighs 185 pounds. Additionally, the photograph of Kohberger shows he has bushy eyebrows. Kohberger's physical description is consistent with the description of the male Dylan saw inside the King Road residence on November 13th. Thank you, Suzette, for the 350 South African Rand. Bang to rights, as you Brits would say. Thank you so much, Suzette. We absolutely say that. Bang to rights. He is bang to rights. They've nailed this guy. They've nailed this guy. Thank you. That's very generous of you. Okay, so further investigation, including a review of Latah County Sheriff's Deputy CPL Duke's body cam and reports, shows that on August 21st, 2022, Brian Kohberger was detained as part of a traffic stop that occurred in Moscow, Idaho, by CPL Duke. At the time, Kohberger, who was the sole occupant, was driving a white 2015 Hyundai Elantra with Pennsylvania plate, LFC 8649. Which was set to expire on November 30th. Actually, the license was going to expire on November 30th. So maybe it was a coincidence that he changed the license plate from a Pennsylvania one to a Washington one. So maybe that was just a coincidence. Anyway, during the stop, which was recorded via a law enforcement body cam, Kohberger provided his phone number as, and it's redacted, but it ends in 8458. Thank you, Paula, for the $2.99. That's very kind of you. So hereafter, the 8458 phone. So that's what they're going to call it in this document. 8458 phone. As his cellular telephone number. Investigators conducted electronic database queries and learned that the 8458 phone is a number issued by AT&T. On October 14th, 2022, Brian Kohberger was detained as part of a traffic stop by the WSU police officer, Upon review of that body cam and report of the stop, Kohberger was the sole occupant and was driving a white 2015 Hyundai Elantra with Pennsylvania plate LFC 8649. Okay, so on November 18th, so 5 days after the murders, according to Washington State licensing, Kohberger registered the 2015 white Elantra with Washington and later received a Washington plate CFB 8708. Prior to this time, the 2015 white Elantra was registered in Pennsylvania, which does not require a front license plate. Oh, okay. Okay, so he didn't remove it. He wasn't that clever. In Pennsylvania, a front license plate isn't required. So maybe he wasn't clever after all. Can someone explain if there was a real DoorDash order? I'm confused by this. So am I. I'm reading this for the very first time. So I'm going to have to go through this several times. I'm going to have to go through this line by line in my own time. I'm reading this with you for the very first time. It's literally just come out. Literally just come out. Patty Girl, thanks for the $9.99. I think Brian just flunked his classes. He's flunked his life, not just his classes. Flunked his life. Okay, so front license plates not required in Pennsylvania. This was learned through communications with a Pennsylvania officer who is currently certified in the state of Pennsylvania. Based on my own experience and communication with Washington law enforcement, I know that Idaho and Washington require front and back license plates to be displayed. Investigators believe that Kohberger is still driving the 2015 white Elantra because his vehicle was captured on December 13th, 2022 by a license plate reader in Lorna, Colorado. So they must have set off. So him and his dad were traveling east. So they were in Colorado on December 13th. So that's information provided by a query to a database. Kohberger's Elantra is then queried on December 15th, 2022 by law enforcement in Hancock County in Indiana. So we know that because we've seen the body cam. We've seen the body cam of 2 police stops. On December 16th, 2022, at approximately 2:26 p.m., surveillance video showed Kohberger's Elantra in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. So they set off at, they were in Colorado on the 13th, and then by the 16th, they were in Albrightsville. So that's where Brian's parents live. So they've literally tracked them across the United States. They've literally tracked them. But track them after the fact, I'm assuming, rather than track them in situ. So it doesn't look like, as far as we're reading so far, it doesn't look like that they track them like with FBI tailing them. They're tracking them via surveillance cameras, as we know right now. But I'm still not all the way through the document. Thank you, Celeste. That's very kind of you for the 350 South African Rand. That's very generous of you. Thank you so much. Okay, so the sole occupant of the vehicle was a white male whose description was consistent with Kohberger. Kohberger has family in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, learned through a TLO search and locate tool database query. So I don't know what TLO stands for, but I guess it doesn't matter because we know that his parents live in Albrightsville. Okay, based on information provided on the WSU website, Kohberger is currently a PhD student in criminology at Washington State University. Pursuant to records provided by a member of the interview panel for Pullman Police Department, we learned that Kohberger's past education included undergraduate degrees in psychology and cloud-based forensics. That's new. So we knew he had an undergrad degree in psychology, but what's cloud-based forensics? I don't know. Didn't help him, whatever it was, allegedly. These records also showed Kohberger wrote an essay when he applied for an internship with Pullman Police Department. Wow, he applied for an internship with Pullman Police Department in the fall of 2022. He wrote in this essay he had an interest in assisting rural law enforcement agencies with how to better collect and analyze technological data in public safety operations. He should have Helen, he should have studied harder. Oh, dear me. Oh, Marie, welcome to memberships. Thanks for joining the Secret Agents Club. This is astonishing. I'm astonished by this. I'm astonished by this. His hearing will have happened by now. His hearing will be happening right now. But I'm continuing to read this. And then we'll get to the hearing after this. All right, we've got a few more pages to go. This is the longest probable cause affidavit I've ever read. The most detailed. And this won't be all they've got. This won't be all they've got. You can believe it. Okay, Kohberger. So it doesn't say whether he got that internship. Doesn't say whether he got that. He applied for one, though. So Kohberger also posted a Reddit survey, which can be found by an open source internet search. So we've all seen it. The survey asked for participants to provide information to understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision-making when committing a crime. Thank you, Jan, for the $20.23. You told us so. I did. I told you so. Thank you, Jan. I absolutely did. The ghost of someone, anyway. Thanks for joining memberships. Welcome to the Secret Agents Club. As part of this investigation, law enforcement obtained search warrants to determine cellular devices that utilize. We're getting onto the cell data. Whew. As part of this investigation, law enforcement obtained search warrants to determine cellular devices that utilize cellular towers in close proximity to the King Road residence on November 13th, 2022, between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. Okay, so wait for this. Wow. After determining that Kohberger was associated with both the 2015 white Elantra and the 8458 phone, investigators reviewed these search warrant returns. A query of the 8458 phone in those returns did not show the 8458 phone utilizing cellular tower resources in close proximity of the King Road residence between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. So I would just imagine that he didn't take his phone with him. He left the knife sheath at the scene, but he didn't take his phone with him, or it was turned off. Thank you, Marie, for the $10. That's very kind of you. Welcome, Veritas, to the Secret Agents Club. Welcome to memberships. Thanks for joining. Melissa Joy, thank you. Very, very generous. The only thing missing from your profile, Michelle, was his dang picture. Spot on. Thank you. Thank you, Melissa. Very generous. So he thought he was being clever by not taking his phone with him. Well, yeah. Everything else, you screwed up. Allegedly. Based on my training, experience, and conversations with law enforcement officers that specialize in the utilization of cellular telephone records as part of investigations, individuals can either leave their cellular telephone at a different location before committing a crime, or turn their cellular telephone off prior to going to the location to commit a crime. I'm assuming this is pretty much standard now in criminal circles, but yet there's many criminals that forget to turn their phones off. All right. Okay. I also know that on numerous occasions, subjects will surveil an area where they intend to commit a crime prior to the date of the crime. Depending on the circumstances, this could be done a few days before or for several months prior to the commission of a crime. If you're Israel Keys, you surveil the area 2 years before committing the crime. But that's just insane. That's insanely genius, right? During these types of surveillance, it is possible that an individual would not leave their cellular telephone at a separate location or turn it off, since they do not plan to commit the offense on that particular day. So, on December 23rd, so 2 days before Christmas, whilst you were all busy eating mince pies, these guys were working on nailing this bastard. Sorry for my language, but they were nailing this bastard to the wall. Sorry for my language. It comes out occasionally. Northern guys, I'm Northern, right? We swear a lot. I curb it. I curb it when I'm on YouTube, but I'll be swearing every other word if I was reading this to someone in my local area. Anyway, let's carry on. On December 23rd, 2022, I applied for and was granted a search warrant for historical phone records between November 12th, 2022 at 12 a.m. and November 14th at 12 a.m. for the 8458 phone held by phone provider AT&T. So this is approximately 24 hours preceding, so the day before and then the day after the homicides. On December 23rd, 2022, pursuant to that search warrant, I received records for the 8458 phone from AT&T. These records indicated that the 8458 phone is subscribed to Brian Kohberger at an address in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, and the account has been open since June 23rd, 2022. These records also included historical cell site location information for the 8458 phone. Thank you to Ella. Thank you so much for the $9.99 for the language, and you pronounce it. To hell with it. Oh, thank you. Okay. After receiving this information, I consulted with an FBI special agent that is certified as a member of the Cellular Analysis Survey Team, or CAST. Members of CAST are certified with the FBI to provide expert testimony in the field of historical cell site location information and are required to pass extensive training that includes both written and practical examinations prior to be certified with CAST, as well as the completion of yearly certification requirements. Additionally, the FBI CAST special agent that I consulted has over 15 years of federal law enforcement experience. That includes 6 years with the FBI. From information provided by CAST, I was able to determine estimated locations for the 8458 phone from November 12th, 2022 to November 13th, 2022, a time period authorized by court. Okay. On November 13th, 2022, at approximately 2:42 a.m., so this is what, an hour and a half thereabouts before the murders, the 8458 phone was utilizing cellular resources that provide coverage to 1630 Northeast Valley Road, apartment 201 in Pullman, Washington, hereafter the Kohberger residence. At approximately 2:47 a.m., the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that provide coverage southeast of the Kohberger residence, consistent with the 8458 phone leaving the Kohberger residence. So he had his phone with him and it was turned on when he left his residence in the early hours, so 2:47 a.m. So he had it with him. He didn't even leave it at home. Oh, bless him. Bless him. So this not only connects the Elantra to traveling towards Moscow, but it also links his phone to traveling towards Moscow from his residence. This is insane. It is consistent with the movement of the white Elantra. At approximately 2:47 a.m., the 8458 phone stops reporting to the network, which is consistent with either the phone being an area without cellular coverage, the connection to the network is disabled, such as putting the phone in airplane mode, or the phone is turned off. So he had his phone on when he left his residence and then probably realized that he needs to turn his phone off. Why not just leave it at home, auto playing on YouTube? Oh dear, no way, no way. The 8458 phone does not report to the network again until approximately 4:48 a.m., at which time it utilized cellular resources that provide coverage to Idaho State Highway 95 south of Moscow. Oh, sorry for laughing. This is tragic. This is tragic. Tragic. So he turns it back on at 10 to 5. Oh dear. Right. So this coverage, Idaho Highway 95 south of Moscow, Idaho near Blaine, Idaho north of Genesee, between 4:50 a.m. and 5:26 a.m., the phone utilized cellular resources that are consistent with the 8458 phone traveling south on Idaho State Highway 95 to Genesee, Idaho, and then traveling west. This is weird, towards Uniontown, Idaho, and then north back to Pullman. So he's gone a roundabout route. I'm going to have to map all of this on. And see what route he actually took. Because he turned his phone on as he was leaving Moscow and then went this route around and about and then went back to Pullman. Okay. And is consistent with the phone traveling back to the Kohberger residence. The 8458 phone's movements are consistent with the movements of the white Elantra that is observed traveling north on Stadium Drive at approximately 5:27 a.m. So he thought as long as he just turned his phone off when he committed the murders, it was okay to turn it back on again as he was leaving Moscow. What an absolute goon. What a goon. What an absolute, well done. Well played, son. Well played, son. Well played, son. Wow. 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 This guy's flunked his classes big style. Flunked his classes big style. My son's hovering. Where are you going, Kyle?
I'm going on a walk.
You going on a walk?
With Fred and Kieran.
All right. All right. See you later. He's going for a walk. Yeah, I'll see you later. So not only has he been to the gym, he's also now going on a walk. Him and his mates are on a fitness drive. You know, it's January. You know, they've had a pig out over Christmas and they're on a fitness drive now. They want to get their figures back. Okay, so let's carry on. Further review indicated that the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources on November 13th, 2022 that are consistent with the 8458 phone leaving the area of the Kohberger residence at approximately 9 a.m. and traveling to Moscow, Idaho. Specifically, so this is 9 a.m. on November 13th. So this is after the murders. This is after the murders. So he seems to be traveling back to Moscow. Specifically, the 8458 phone utilizes cellular resources that would provide coverage to the King Road residents between 9:12 a.m. and 9:21 a.m. Bye, Kyle. This is insane. This is insane. He went back to the scene. He went back. I wonder whether he realised he'd left the knife sheath behind and he went to see if he could find it. That's just my speculation. Yeah, and other people are saying this. Yeah, trying to find the sheath. Yeah. I'm going to read this again. Read this paragraph again. Further review indicated the 84584 phone utilised cellular resources on November 13th, 2022, that are consistent with the 84584 phone leaving the area of the Kohberger residence at approximately 9 a.m. and travelling to Moscow, Idaho. Specifically, the 84584 phone utilised cellular resources that would provide coverage to the King Road residence between 9:12 a.m. and 9:21 a.m. The 84584 phone next utilised cellular resources that are consistent with the phone travelling back to the area of the Kohberger residence and arriving in the area at approximately 9:32 a.m. So he went back to King Road and then rode back home. Thank you, Laura, for the £17.99. Has his attorney thrown in the towel yet? Oh, dear me. Well, she's got some work on her hands. Thank you, Miss Pumba, for the $329.99 South African rand, making it a South African hat trick. Thank you. Thank you for your great coverage of this case, Michelle. Your reaction tonight is priceless. I can't believe what I'm reading. I absolutely cannot believe what I'm reading. What an absolute goon. My word. Below is a depiction, not to scale, of the possible route taken off of the cellular site locations. So you can't make anything out there. Okay, so that's it. Why didn't they just use Google Maps? Why didn't they just use Google Maps? Dear me. All right, so investigators found that the 84584 phone did connect to a cell tower that provides service to Moscow, Idaho on November 14th, so the day after. But investigators do not believe the 84584 phone was in Moscow at that date. What? Investigators found that the 84584 phone did connect to a cell tower that provides service to Moscow on November 14th. But investigators do not believe that the 84584 phone was in Moscow on that day. The 84584 phone is not connected to any towers that provide services to Moscow since that day. So I don't really know what that means, but this is what the guy who's writing this, Brent Payne, is saying. Based on my training, experience, and the facts of the investigation thus far, I believe that Kohberger, the user of the 84584 phone, was likely the driver of the white Elantra that is observed departing Pullman, Washington, and that this vehicle is likely suspect vehicle 1. Additionally, the route of travel, the 84584 phone, during the early morning hours of November 13th, and the lack of the 84584 phone reporting that to AT&T between 2:47 a.m. and 5:48 a.m. is consistent with Kohberger attempting to conceal his location during the quadruple homicide that occurred at the King Road residence. So I don't know what the thing about the 14th was. If anybody's got any ideas, then let me know. Because they don't believe the phone was in Moscow, but yet it did ping. He throws it away. Yeah, he might have done. Yeah, he might have thrown it away. I don't know. Or I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, okay. So on December 23rd, 2022, I was granted a search warrant for Kohberger's historical CSLI, so the information from his phone, from June 23rd, 2022 to current, prospective location information, and a pen register trap and trace on the 8458 phone to aid efforts to determine if Kohberger stalked any of the victims in this case prior to the offence. So we're getting on to the stalking allegations now. Okay. So whether he stalked any of the victims prior to the offence, conducted surveillance on the King Road residence, was in contact with any of the victims' associates before or after the alleged offence, any locations that may contain evidence of the murder that occurred on November 13th, 2022, the location of the white Elantra registered to Kohberger, as well as the location of Kohberger. These guys have done everything. They're now tracking his phone from June 23rd. The information is gold. Absolutely, Emma. This is... And just to think those people who said the case was going cold, or to say that the police weren't doing anything. Oh, my word. Okay. So on December 23rd, 2022, pursuant to the search warrant, I received historical records for the 8458 phone from AT&T from the time the account was opened in June 2022. So all the way from when the account opened to current, to the murder date. After consulting with Cassie, special agent, I was able to determine estimated locations for the 8458 phone from June 2022 to present, the time period authorized by the court. The records for the 8458 phone show that the 8458 phone utilizing cellular resources that provide coverage to the area of 1122 King Road on at least 12 occasions. At least 12 occasions. That phone pinged in the King Road area. 12 occasions. Can you believe it? Fire up old Sparky. Fire him up. Right, let's just fire him up. Let's just fire him up. Guys, come on. Come on. This guy is banged to rights. He's screwed. Absolutely, Morgan. He's screwed. So I'm going to read that sentence again. The records for the 8458 phone show the 8458 phone utilizing cellular resources that provide coverage to the area of 1122 King Road on at least 12 occasions prior to November 13th. All of these occasions, except for one, occurred in the late evening and early morning hours of their respective days. One of these occasions, on August 23rd, 2022, the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources providing coverage to the King Road residents from approximately 10:34 p.m. to 11:35 p.m. So he was there an hour. At approximately 11:37 p.m., Kohberger was stopped. He was stopped by Latar County Sheriff's Deputy CPL Duke, as mentioned above. The it should be 8458. That's a spelling error. That's a typo. The 8458 phone was utilizing cellular resources consistent with the location of the traffic stop during the time. So Farm Road and Pullman Highway. So one of them can be accounted for by him being stopped in Moscow. So people are telling me about what's going on in the hearing. So no bail for Kohberger, his attorney asked, but judge denied. Victim's family in front rows crying when names were read. Next status hearing will be cut off. Hold on, I'll have to move my chat up. Will be in 1 week. Okay, we'll get to the hearing next. Okay, so further analysis of the cellular data provided showed the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources on November 13th, 2022, consistent with the phone traveling from Pullman, Washington to Lewiston, Idaho. So Lewiston, I don't know where that is, via a US Highway 195. So this is at approximately 12:36 p.m. The 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that would provide coverage to Kate's Cup at Joe Coffee Stand, located at 810 Port Drive, Clarkston, Washington. Surveillance footage from the US Chef's store, located at 820 Port Drive, Clarkston, Washington, adjacent to Kate's Cup of Joe, showed a white Elantra consistent with the suspect vehicle 1 drive past Kate's Cup of Joe at the time, consistent with the cellular data. From the cellular data. So what they're doing is linking the phone on multiple occasions as he's driving the white Elantra. So what they're doing is they're saying, look, this phone travels with this vehicle. So it then kind of links with what he was doing in Moscow, what he was doing at the time of the murders, and consistent with him turning his phone off. Ashley, $4.99. Thank you so much. I came in late. Besides his phone pinging at the residence, did I miss anything from the beginning? You missed a lot. Ashley. You're going to have to rewind, I'm afraid. It's a lot. It's so much. You won't believe it. You won't believe it. You're going to have to be on the rewind crew. You're going to have to go and rewind and watch it from the beginning. So at approximately 12:46 p.m., so this is on November 13th, the 8458 phone then utilized cellular data in the area of Albertson's grocery store at 400 Briggs Street in Charleston, Washington. Surveillance footage obtained from the Albertsons showed Kohberger exit the white Elantra, so they're linking him with the white Elantra with the phone. So they're linking them all together. This is why they're doing all of this. So, they saw him exit the white Elantra consistent with suspect vehicle 1 at approximately 12:49 p.m. Interior surveillance cameras showed Kohberger walk through the store, purchase unknown items at the checkout, and leave at approximately 1:04 p.m. Kohberger's possible path of travel is depicted below, not to scale. No idea. I don't know what these maps are ridiculous. I'm just going to track it all out on a map. That's what I'm going to do. After this, I'm going to just track it all out on a map. Do it myself. So additional analysis of records of the 8458 phone indicate that between approximately 5:32 p.m. and 5:36 p.m., the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that provide coverage to Johnson, Idaho. The 8458 phone then stopped reporting to the network. What? Thank you, Diane, for the $1.99. Thank you so much for reading all of this, Michelle. You are very welcome. Okay. So he's gone to, so this is still November 13th. So this is in the afternoon. So 5:36 5:32 p.m. to 5:36 p.m. It pings on a tower that provides coverage to Johnson, Idaho. The 84584 phone then stops reporting to the network from 5:36 to 8:30 p.m. This is consistent with the 84584 phone being in the area that the 84584 phone travelled in the hours immediately following the suspect's time the homicide occurred. I don't understand that sentence. But anyway, on December 27th, 2022, Pennsylvania agents recovered the trash from Kohberger's family residence. So, 3 days before he was arrested in Pennsylvania, they raided the parents' trash. And this would have been a completely, they didn't know anything. This is 3 days before. The evidence was sent to the Idaho State Lab for testing. On December 28th, 2022, the Idaho State Lab reported that a DNA profile obtained from the trash and the DNA profile obtained from the sheath. So they've now got a DNA match. Thank you, Rarity, for the $9.99. That's very kind. Oh, wow. So 2,500 miles away, they've got a DNA match. Okay. From trash to the DNA profile found at the murder scene on the sheath of the knife. So the DNA profile obtained from the sheath identified a male not being excluded as the biological father of the suspect profile. So they've not used Ancestry or GEDCOM or GEDmatch or any of those things. They've got DNA from the trash of his parents' home and they've matched it to his dad. So identified as a male not being excluded as the biological father of the suspect profile. At least 99.9998%, so that's as close to 100% as it can be, of the male population would be expected to be excluded from the possibility of being the suspect's biological father. Thank you, Patricia, for the $5. Cops ain't playing. They're not. They're not playing. They've got him. So they've got trash from his parents' bin. They've got his dad's DNA profile and they've matched it to almost 100% certainty that Michael Kohberger is Brian Kohberger's dad. So that's a direct link via his dad to the murder scene of the sheath of the knife. Bex, did they say the surviving roommates heard nothing in the beginning? You're going to have to go back and rewind. There was a lot on that. Go and rewind. Whew. Based on the above information, I am requesting an arrest warrant be issued for Brian C. Kohberger, date of birth 11/21/94, for the burglary and 1122 King Road in Moscow, Idaho, and 4 counts of murder in the first degree for the murders of Madison Morgan, Kaylee Gonzalez, Xana Knodel, and Ethan Chapin. I declare under penalty of perjury pursuant to the law in the state of Idaho that the foregoing is true and correct. So that was dated on the 29th of December. What do you make to that? What do you make to that? That is insane. That is insane. Just the level of detail. The level of detail on this document is amazing. Is amazing. They did their job. They absolutely did their job. They absolutely did their job. Yeah, for some people it's been blurry throughout. So this day of all days, either my internet or StreamYard is playing up. Some people have said it's clear. Some people have said it's blurry. I don't know what to tell you. But what I can do is I can put the link to the document that I'm reading from in the chat so that you can read it for yourself. So glad it's not redacted. No, the only thing that appears to be redacted is the private driver's name, Kohberger's full telephone number, and they've used initials for Dylan and Bethany. So it's clear on your end, clear on your end. It's not clear on my end. It's blurry on my end. So I don't know. Is that it? All 19 pages? Yes, that's it. Yeah. What you see in there is the last page. The signature there is the last page. Yeah. So it's 18 pages in total. And there must be there'll be a front page that's not been included to this. Now there might be more, because this just says Exhibit A, statement of Brett Payne. So there might be more to it, but this is what we've got. This is what we've got. And by golly, this is detailed. They've got him. They've nailed him. In my opinion, they've nailed him. His defense has got a big job on their hands. A big job on their hands to wriggle him out of this one, because he's been really stupid. Welcome, Edgemon, to Secret Agents, and Cheryl of Kitchen Powell. Welcome, both of you, to memberships. And thank you, Shalene, for the $5. That's very kind. Very kind. So that is a lot. Yeah, I am impressed. I am very impressed. I am very impressed. Let's see them say it's all circumstantial. Yeah, well, it isn't, is it? I mean, you know, they've got every link. They've got every link. They've got his DNA at the scene on the sheath of the murder weapon that was found on Maddie's bed. They've got a description from Dylan of him leaving the residence. We've got his white Elantra being seen on numerous occasions in Moscow on surveillance between Washington and Pullman, Washington, and Moscow, Idaho. We've got his phone pinging 12 times before the murders. So there's no mention of stalking in this, but 12 times he was in Moscow in the area of the King Road residence. So maybe cruising around looking for targets before the murders. We've got him turning his phone off during the murders themselves, but the phone left his residence with him and then turned back on when he left Moscow. And then we've got DNA from his dad linking his dad, Michael Kohberger, to Pennsylvania. And that's a match. So it'll be a 50% match for the DNA found at the scene. I don't know how much more they could have done. And they may have more. They may have more. Can't take it all in. Neither can I. Neither can I. Like reading this for the first time, it's astonishing. It's astonishing. Thank you, Laced in Chains. That's very kind. Outstanding review. Please consider another video diving into reasons roommate didn't call for help. You're the best. Maybe she did. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. I really do not know. Maybe that's part of the investigation. Because there was nothing, was there? You know, she went back in her room. And she was on the second floor. She was on the second floor. So that information that came out, that said Dylan's bedroom may be on the second floor, that was right. That was right. Probably frightened and traumatized. I would imagine so. But then it was hours later. I don't know. I don't know what to make to that. I don't know what to make to that. But also we don't know what time they called their friends. We don't know what time they called their friends because that's not mentioned in this. So we've got that whole thing to come. That'll be all part of the investigation still. So we don't know what time they called their friends to the residence. A neighbour saw the door open, that front door open. What time was that? About 8 o'clock? 8 to 9 o'clock in the morning. So we don't know. That's very peculiar. I don't know what to think to that, honestly. I don't know what to think to that. Welcome. Welcome, Mama Bear of Tennessee. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Secret Agents Clubs. They have the sheath. Do they need the knife? No, they don't need it. They don't need it. It'd be nice, but they don't need it. No. Well, if she was drinking, thinking clear, maybe. Yeah, shock and fear make people freeze. Rarity became a YouTube member. Thank you. Welcome to the Secret Agents Club. Thank you, Millianne, for the $20 for being spot on. Thank you. Very generous. Right, let's get to this hearing. I'm going to have to, I don't know about you, I'm going to have to unfry my brain and then read all this again because it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Not mentioned, but there's a lot. There's a lot we still don't know. There's a lot of questions we still don't know. So remember, this document, all this document is the probable cause to achieve, sufficient to achieve an arrest, sufficient for a judge to sign it off. So they're not going to show every single piece of evidence or every single piece of the investigation. They're only providing that's sufficient to get a judge to sign off on the arrest. They're not going to show their hand until they need to. Where is the motive? Well, we got to the motive won't be in the probable cause documentation. I mean, all the probable cause documentation does, as I said, is to provide enough evidence for a judge to sign it off to make the arrest. Now, it could be, you know, that this officer, Brett Payne, could speculate on what the motive might be. You know, if there'd been signs of sexual assault, for example, maybe they would have speculated, but we don't know. We don't know. Maybe they don't know what the motive was. They don't need the motive, though. They don't need the motive for a probable cause affidavit. They don't need a motive. They just need evidence, and the evidence that they've got in this is astonishing. They say suspect vehicle 1. I don't know. Don't know. Exactly, Rebecca. Motive doesn't have to be established. Method and means. Exactly. No, Dylan's bedroom was on the 2nd floor. It's a lot to take in. It's a lot to take in. True that Xana fought. Well, she was found on the floor. So, yeah. So, yeah. All right. So I'm gonna get to this hearing now. Court TV as the court hearing. Okay. So what happened at the, hold on a minute. Let's, let me just find, hold on. Okay, so, oh wow, look at the trends. Moscow 4's trending, Xana Knoddle's trending, Moscow Murders trending. Right, so we need to find information for the hearing. So let's just do this. So a roommate did see the murder, a figure clad in black clothing and a mask covered the... Yeah, everyone's talking about this. Right, where can I find this hearing? So the reporters were allowed in. They weren't allowed to tweet or film, but there was a feed. There was a feed. So what we want is that feed. Now, Brian Entin said he was gonna provide the feed afterwards, but if Court TV's got it, is that Court TV on YouTube? Whoever said that. Let's just have a look. I'll have a look for Court TV on YouTube. Okay. Court TV. Okay, they're live at the moment.
That the state of Idaho is going to be able to bring
Want the actual hearing?
16 minutes. This is rules we weren't
pinpoint some
Question had been to you
at the beginning.
took him into custody.
It's just them talking about it.
much.
No matter.
I think it's them just talking about it. Do they have the actual hearing though? Well, there it is. Is that it? Yeah, that's it.
It alleges that the defendant
Okay.
10 years in
Look around and ask about, but
Force injuries.
Here we go, right.
Quoting the language direct.
sides, so both sides can cut. If you would have
Video back right now from Brian Kohberger's hearing.
All right, so we've got the hearing. So I'm going to play the hearing. So I'm going to mute out in a minute so that it won't echo or any noises. And I've turned up the volume as much as I can. It's on YouTube, so it should be okay. But let's play the hearing. So for those of you just coming in, I've read through the 18-page probable probable cause affidavit, which was very, very, very detailed, incredibly detailed. So if you're just coming in and you're going, what on earth's going on? Then you're going to have to rewind. I've read the entire document word for word. The entire document word for word. What we're going to play now is the hearing that happened about an hour ago. So I'm going to mute out and we'll play this this hearing now. Just a second. I've got all my windows all everywhere. I can't even see my own mute button. Right, there we go.
Let's watch.
Are witnesses called against you? Call witnesses on your own behalf and compel witnesses to be present and testify at the state's expense. You have the right to be represented by a lawyer. If you cannot afford one, one could be appointed to represent you based upon your financial need. You also have the right to appeal any conviction in your case. Do you understand these rights?
Yes.
I am now going to go over the criminal complaint with you. Count 1 of the criminal complaint charges you with the felony offense of burglary. It alleges that the defendant, Brian C. Kohberger, on or about November 13th of 2022, in Latah County, state of Idaho, did unlawfully enter a residence located at 1122 King Road, Moscow, with the intent to commit the felony crime of murder, in violation of Idaho Code 18-1401 and 1403. The maximum penalty for that offense, if you plead guilty or found guilty, is not less than 1 year in prison, no more than 10 years in prison, and or a $50,000 fine or both. Do you understand?
Yes.
Count 2 alleges that you committed the felony offense of murder in the first degree. It alleges that the defendant, Brian C. Kohberger, on or about November 13th, 2022, in Latah County, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Madison Mogan, a human being, by stabbing Madison Mogan, from which she died, in violation of Idaho Code 18-4001, 4002, 4003, and 4004. The maximum penalty for this offense, if you were to plead guilty or be found guilty, is death or imprisonment for life. Do you understand?
Yes.
Count 3 alleges that you committed the felony offense of murder in the first degree. It alleges that the defendant, Brian C. Kohberger, on or about November 13th of 2022 in Latah County, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Kaylee Gonsalves, a human being, by stabbing Kaylee Gonsalves, from which she died, in violation of Idaho Code 18-4001, 4002, 4003, 4004. Again, the maximum penalty for that offense, if you plead guilty or are found guilty, is death and or imprisonment for life. Do you understand?
Yes.
Count 4 alleges that you committed the felony offense of murder in the first degree. It alleges that the defendant, Brian C. Kohberger, on or about November 13th of 2022 in Latah County, Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Xana Kernodle, a human being, by stabbing Xana Kernodle, from which she died, in violation of Idaho Code 18-4001, 4002, 4003, and 4004. Again, the maximum penalty for that offense, if you plead guilty or are found guilty, is up to death and or imprisonment for life. Do you understand?
Yes.
Count 5 alleges that you committed the felony offense of murder in the first degree. It alleges that the defendant, Brian C. Kohberger, on or about November 13th of 2022 in Latah County, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Ethan Chapin, a human being, by stabbing Ethan Chapin, from which he died, in violation of Idaho Codes 18-4001, 4002, 4003, and 4004. And again, the maximum penalty for this offense, if you plead guilty or are found guilty, is up to death and imprisonment for life. Do you understand?
Yes.
And Mr. Kohberger, would you like to represent yourself, hire a lawyer, or see if you qualify for court-appointed counsel?
I have court-appointed counsel.
Court has reviewed your application for attorney at public expense. I do find that you are indigent and do qualify for court-appointed counsel. I will appoint Ms. Taylor to represent you in this case. Ms. Taylor, have you had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Kohberger about speedy preliminary hearing and setting this matter?
Your Honor, I have. We would ask the court to set the status hearing in a week or two to make a final determination.
Okay. And Mr. Thompson, Ms. Jennings, are you in agreement with that?
That's fine with the state, Your Honor.
I will go ahead and set this matter for a status hearing then on the calendar on January 12th at 10 o'clock a.m. We will make sure notice is sent, and then Ms. Taylor, do you wish to argue bail at this time?
Your Honor, I would like to ask the court to consider setting a bond. Mr. Kohberger right now is on a no bond hold, but it's a limited request as I don't have enough information. We are new to the case. We haven't reviewed very much in the way of information about the case, and we have just begun our own work on the case. But we would want the court to know that Mr. Kohberger has a good family that stands behind him.
And Mr. Thompson.
You know, the state's position is that Mr. Kohberger is not entitled to bond in this case. We can take charges as is noted on the arrest warrant itself. Under Code 19-816, 19-2903, both specify that given the potential penalties in this case, there's no right to bail. The defendant was arrested 3,000 miles away across the country, where his family is. We ask that he remain in custody. No bail.
At this point in time, pursuant to Idaho Criminal 46B and Idaho Code 19-816 and 2903, I am going to leave the bail set at this case as no bail at this point in time until I have additional or further information at a later date and time. So with that, then Mr. Kohberger, you will be remanded to custody and remain in custody on the no bail pending further proceedings in this matter. Is there anything further in the case then for today, Mr. Thompson?
Yes, Your Honor. The state is asking for no contact orders for various family members deceased and also for surviving roommates. I spoke briefly with Ms. Taylor. She indicated there's no objection.
Ms. Taylor, is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
So I will go ahead and issue those no contact orders. So I do have a no contact order then for the named individual of Dylan Mortensen, Bethany Funk, as well as the family members and Mr. Chapin, the family members of Ms. Kernodle, excuse me, yes, Mr. and Ms. Laramie, Mr. Mogan, Ms. Cheeley, and then a number of members of the Gonsalves family. Those specific names will certainly be provided to you, Mr. Kohberger, by way of being provided notice of these documents. You'll get a copy of these no contact orders. What you do need to be advised of, and what will be in this no contact order, is you are prohibited from having any contact with them whatsoever. You cannot contact them through third person in writing or by any electronic means. You cannot Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, use the phone to communicate with them, or otherwise any form of communication in direct or indirectly with them. You cannot engage in any conduct that would harass, stalk, threaten, use, attempt to use, or threaten to use any physical force or violence upon them, or place them in reasonable fear of bodily injury. Cannot go within or knowingly remain within 300 feet of their person or their home, workplace, or any other place where they might be. There are no exceptions to these orders, and if you do violate these orders, it is a new misdemeanor offense. It is punishable by up to a year in jail and or a $1,000 fine or both. At this point in time, due to being in the magistrate's division here, at this juncture, I am going to issue the no contact orders for a period of 2 years. And then if it needs to be modified or changed by additional judge, it can be done so at that time. Is there anything further, Mr. Thompson? Anything further, Ms. Taylor?
No, right.
All right, thank you. We are adjourned.
And with that, Brian Kohberger's first court appearance in Latah County, Idaho concludes. This guy's going to go back to jail and be held without any bail. So he's going to sit in jail until this case proceeds to the juncture of trial, or if we have some kind of a plea take place prior to then. The next court date, January the 12th, 10 a.m. He's going to be back in court. A status conference is just basically a way for the attorneys to go before the judge, let them know what's going on with the case. Everybody kind of convenes. Where are we? What's next in the proceedings? Because this one is so high profile, can see why they'd want to do this quickly. And at that hearing, we'll see what's next. We'll see how the state is going to be proceeding here. Remember, this one is eligible to be pursued as a death penalty case. The state would, of course, have to file that notice. And Kohberger's got his attorney. We saw the appointment take place there as well.
I'm going to stop that there. We've heard everything we need to hear. So no bail. He's going to sit in jail until either trial or he pleads guilty. So let him rot. Absolutely let him rot. Absolutely let him rot. Thank you, Cecile, for the $19.99 when that hearing was on. And then we've got Diana. Thank you for the $20. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, I don't, well, personally, I don't believe he's suicidal, but let's not take any chances. He is absolutely being surveilled. He's on 24-hour surveillance. I have heard that they're going to surveil him every 15 minutes, but that's just what I've heard. So that is a lot. That is a lot to take in. So for those of you just coming in, you are going to have to rewind and watch from the beginning, or almost the beginning, because we got the release of the probable cause affidavit and I started to read. I started to read within minutes of it going live on the court system. I've read through the entire document. It's 18 pages. This is a link to it on the court's website. So this is the actual document. This is a link to it right here. So you can read that yourself. That's what's been released. It's 18 pages. And download that just in case documents do get sealed at a later date. Thank you, Dawn, for the $20. That's very kind. yeah, download it. Download it, keep it on your machine so that you can refer to it, because I don't think there was no mention. There was no mention of sealing the documents. Nobody brought that up in the hearing. So I don't think it's going to be sealed. I think the court documentation is going to remain unsealed, but it's a lot to take in. So I'm going to have to go away and read this in much more depth. I've just read this for the first time with you guys. It's astonishing the amount of evidence they've got. To just recap the amount of evidence they've got Dylan, the roommate, who was asleep. Well, she wasn't asleep, but her bedroom was on the second floor, not the first floor, as we imagined. She was sleeping on the second floor, and she saw the assailant leaving. She saw him leaving. She went in and out of her bedroom several times, 4 times, I think. She heard crying. The dog was barking. The dog barking and noise was picked up by a camera within the vicinity. Somebody's surveillance camera picked up noise. Dylan was able to give a description of him. He was wearing a mask, but she said he had bushy eyebrows. And he was tall, 5'10" or taller, she said. We don't know why 911 wasn't called until 11:58. We don't know that. But he walked straight by her. This is her testimony. He walked straight by her. We know that Xana was found on the floor in her bedroom. We don't know where Ethan was found. It doesn't say. So that's a question mark. Maddie and Kaylee were found in Maddie's room, both on the bed. The sheath of the knife was found on Maddie's bed. So the information that came out saying it was found under Ethan isn't true. That was found on Maddie's bed. A DNA profile was lifted from the sheath of the knife. So that's where the DNA came from. Came from the sheath of the knife. And then they've been able to link the white Hyundai Elantra to the entire journey from Washington State University to Moscow. It was seen 12 times. Oh, sorry, no, not the Elantra. But yeah, it was seen on multiple surveillance cameras. His phone pinged leaving his residence in Pullman, but then was turned off and then turned back on again as he was leaving Moscow. So it was turned off during the duration of the murders, but they were able to link him to that phone. Obviously, it's his phone registered to him. The white Elantra was registered to him. They were able to link the direction the phone traveled on numerous occasions with the direction of travel of the Elantra on numerous occasions. And they were able to see him going into a grocery store, exiting the Elantra. So they've got the 3 things: the vehicle, the phone, and him linked together. So that's all documented. And then the really interesting thing is they did not appear. So all the stuff that's come out about genetic genealogy, that was not mentioned in the probable cause affidavit. That was not mentioned. So that seems to be a speculation that either wasn't true, or at least it's not been mentioned. What they did do, though, was on the 27th of December, so 3 days before the arrest, cops in Pennsylvania, unbeknownst to Brian's parents, presumably, they raided their trash and they got a DNA profile of Michael, who is Brian's dad. And they're to almost like 99.99999999% certainty that the DNA of Brian's dad is linked to Brian because Brian's his son. So what they've got is a link between a family member of Brian and Brian. So that's kind of proven that Brian, you know, the DNA matches from the crime scene. It matches to one of his family members. Presumably that will be a 50% match because it's his dad. So they'd be able to tell if it was a 100% match. So it's not Brian's dad that did the killing. It's not Brian's dad's DNA on the sheath, because they'd be able to tell that. So let's not be under any illusion. Brian's dad did not commit these murders, right? It was Brian's DNA on the murder weapon, but they've got the link via a family member. So it wasn't through genetic genealogy, looking at, you know, websites and going through ancestry and those kind of things. It was directly from a DNA profile. So it was kind of right, but not in the way that people have talked about, not in the way we thought. They got it from his trash, the trash bin at his parents' home. So they were able to link Brian's DNA to that of a family member. So it's a lot. It's a lot. So they've got an eyewitness of him in the house. They've got forensic evidence by way of DNA linking him to the scene. He left the sheath of the knife. How unbelievably stupid. That is insane. Insane. There's so much to this. You're going to have to rewind and watch it all from the beginning, because there's so much more to talk about. He did not get bail. No. His defender tried to say blah, 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 but no, he did not get bail. He will sit in jail. There is a status hearing, so that's just it's a formality really, next week. So that's January 12th at 10 a.m. Pacific. So what's that my time? 8 hours ahead, 10 a.m. So that's 6 p.m. So yeah, I'll be live. You better believe I'll be live. Hopefully it's televised. If not live, then there is you know, we get able to watch it later. So thank you, T90 Hell, for the £8.99, my currency. Fantastic live. I won £10 on New Year's Eve lotto. I only did it because I didn't want to go back to work after Christmas. You and your efforts deserve it more than me. Oh, thank you so much. That's very kind of you. They've been extensively questioned. They've been questioned. Yeah, they have. They've given statements. Yeah. So they've said from the beginning they don't think the surviving roommates were involved at all. No, they won't read the entire affidavit in court. No, they won't read it all in court. No, all the evidence they've got. I mean, remember, in the arrest warrant, all we've got is enough evidence to achieve an arrest, to get a judge to sign off on that. But it's a very, very detailed document, So you absolutely have to, you know, read it and digest it. And there's a lot in there. It's very strong set of evidence. So, I mean, way, way stronger. I mean, if you think about the arrest, the probable cause affidavit of Richard Allen from the Delphi murders, you know, that was very scant in evidence relative to this. This is very detailed. So at trial, presumably, if it goes all the way to trial, and he doesn't plea out, he might just plea out, I guess. But at the moment, he says he didn't do it. But if he pleads not guilty, I can't imagine what defense the public defenders can bring. I don't know how they could convince a jury of provide enough reasonable doubt into a jury's mind. I don't know how they could do it. They could try, I guess. That's the whole point of a trial, isn't it? But yeah, all the evidence, everything they've got will be laid out at trial. But no, the arrest warrant won't be read in court. But I've read it word for word for everybody. So if you want to go back to the beginning and listen to me reading it, and there's the shock that I had at some of the paragraphs, and I'll put the link to the document again in the chat if anybody wants it to download. This is directly off the Idaho court website. So DNA on the sheath can be explained away. How can Brian's DNA on the sheath of the knife be explained away? Brian's DNA was on the sheath of the knife found on Maddie's bed next to two of the murder victims, next to Kaylee and Maddie. How can that be explained away? I'll wait, because that's insane. That's insane that he's left that. Could claim it was planted. Could do. But I could claim it was planted, but by who? When there's an eyewitness from inside the house that someone fitting his description was inside the house, how can be explained away that the Hyundai Elantra was seen in the area, like directly cruising backwards and forwards from Queen Road to King Road, like just cruising around, seen on multiple cameras? How can that be explained away? Someone borrowed it. Well, yeah, but it's his DNA. So someone borrowed it. Someone borrowed it. Didn't manage to have any DNA on it themselves, and then planted it next to two murder victims. No. Sorry, no. Not in this lifetime. And remember, this isn't all they've got. Remember, this is not all they've got. This is enough information for a judge to sign off on the arrest. We don't know what all else they've got. So that, you know, we've still got loads of question marks. Like, we don't know whether in his driving around that he did, whether he stopped off anywhere. He might have stopped off for a period of time. We don't know. To, I don't know, get rid of his clothes. We don't know if any evidence like blood or fibers or anything was found on clothes that was taken from his apartment or from the car. We don't know how he managed to get out without leaving any blood. We don't know any of that. All of that has not been mentioned, but they will have that information. They'll have more. They can say that he won't get a fair trial if it's held in Moscow, so Latah County, and they can request that it be presented in another county, but no, that's down to jury selection. So there's enough people out there who don't keep up with social media and don't follow crime, that'll be down to jury selection. So no, they can't claim that. We've got no idea at this moment. No idea at this moment when the trial will be. No idea. I mean, you know, we've not got his plea yet. He said, you know, via sources, he said that he didn't do it. And like his lawyer who was assisting him in Pennsylvania, you know, he said that he didn't do it, that he's shocked and blah, blah, blah. But no. I think they've got him banged to rights. I absolutely think they've got him banged to rights. Banged to rights. I think he did it. He should just play out. Yeah, he should. He should. I mean, you know, maybe if he pleads out, though, you know, if he pleads guilty, I guess they could take the death penalty off the table. You know. What do you mean? His housemate said he was asleep and never left. Who? Do we know that Brian had housemates? How do we know that? Do we know he had housemates? Because, you know, don't know. Yeah, not smart at all. Not smart at all. I mean, why did he walk past Dylan? That is confusing me. Why did he walk past Dylan? Why would you leave an eyewitness alive? That's insane. Why would you take your phone with you? You know, turn it off on your way there and then turn it back on your way back. But why would you do that? That means just stupid. And why would you leave the murder weapons sheath at the scene? No, I don't think he had housemates either. I think he was living on his own. Oh, talking about Jack D. Oh, right, okay. All right, that makes sense. But no, Jack D's not involved. Guys, we need to stop. We need to stop this now. It should never have been started, but we need to stop this now about claiming other people who... He's banged to rights. He's banged to rights. Well, I know. I can't wait to see. I honestly can't wait to see. He didn't mean to... Well, no, he obviously didn't mean to leave it, but... What a clown. What a clown. Unknown, but he had a mask on. She gave a description of him having bushy eyebrows and tall, 5'10" or taller, and slim, not very muscular, wearing black. So he does. Book smarts and no common sense. Yeah. People say that about me, though. And, you know, I really don't think I'd be that stupid. Not that I'd ever be in that position. No, we don't know the order. Does it really matter, to be honest? Does it really matter? I think they'll probably know that based on the transfer of blood. What we know, all we know, is that Xana was found on the floor. So for me, that tells me that she fought back. You know, she got out of bed and she fought. Now, we don't know. It's not mentioned any defensive wounds or anything on the victims in the probable cause affidavit. We've heard from Maddie, not Maddie's, Xana's dad, though, that she had defensive wounds. And then we don't know where Ethan was found. And then we know where Kelly and Maddie were found. They're in Maddie's room on the bed. So they must have been asleep, I think. So yeah, Xana was still awake. Yeah. Xana was still awake. So I'm interested to know about this DoorDash. I'm interested to know about this DoorDash. You know, did she let him in thinking, did she open the door thinking it was the DoorDash? I don't know. Honestly, don't know. I'm going to have to think it all through, and my head is just full at the moment. My head is just absolutely full at the moment. What are you talking about? What? Who are you talking to? Rebecca, calm down. Right. I'm going to sign off in a minute because I'm just mentally exhausted. I'm mentally drained. I'm drained. I'm going to just have a look on Twitter at the latest happenings. So they'll all be talking about the arrest affidavit here. So Brian Entin is saying Kohberger's cell phone was tracked back to the house after the murders between 9:12 and 9:21 a.m. The phone was near the house again. That's insane. I think he went back he realised he dropped the sheath. I think he went back. I mean, did he try to get back in to find it? What? We've no idea. Like, the speculation is going to go mad now. And I'm going to admit that I'm going to have to speculate. I'm just like, what on earth? What on earth? So JB from WFLA says, from Brian Kohberger's arrest affidavit, a surviving roommate saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. That's terrifying. It's terrifying, isn't it? See what people are saying about Xana's trending. So remember, guys, if you're just coming in, I've read the entire affidavit word for word. I've read it word for word. Word for word. So rewind back. So this person says, my heart hurts so much knowing that Xana was whimpering and crying in fear and pain. Brian responds, it's okay, I'm going to help you. Yeah, that's what's in there. That's what's in there. Sickening and heartbreaking. It's a lot, guys. Figure clad in black. Look, just a monster. A monster took the lives of these 4 human beings with their whole lives ahead of them. What an absolute monster. Monster. Like, how the families are feeling right now is unbelievable. Unbelievable. See what people are saying about Brian Kohberger. Member for 3 months, Julie. Didn't Dylan say she heard a thud upstairs first? I'm going to have to go back and read it all. She said she heard crying. She thought she heard Kaylee playing with the dog. I don't know. I'm going to have to go back and read it all. It's just, my mind is just everywhere at the moment. Dumbest criminal justice student to ever live. So there's going to be so much comes out. I just hope that people don't start, you know, we're going to speculate. There's still lots of questions, but I hope people don't start blaming this person and that person, bringing new people into it. And, you know, we don't know why she waited until 11:58. We don't know any of that information yet. But what we do know is the police have said that the surviving roommates are not involved. Not involved. This absolute monster. And I'm going to say he's a monster. They've got him. They've got him bang to rights. He smiles in court after being denied bail. You can only see him the side on. I wish the camera had been positioned to the front of him so we could have watched his reactions. Doesn't deserve to eat. Yeah. Thank you, Abelis, for the $5 Canadian. Conspiracy theories crack me up. I know, but it's annoying. Like when you think there's actual people, there's actual people that, you know, just have their lives turned upside down. So Brian Entin says, spoke with Letar County Sheriff, says he has heard of nothing out of the ordinary with Kohberger in jail so far. He says they are trying to accommodate Kohberger's vegan diet restrictions, but we are not going to buy new pots and pans. Well done, that sheriff. Well done, that sheriff. Oh my word. Look at that. Oh, you little smug bastard. You smug, absolute rotting. Oh, save that. You can rot in hell. Look, a little smirk. The PCA did say Ethan was found in Xana's room. Okay, I honestly, I'm going to have to read it all again, word for word. I'm not screen sharing. I am. Am I not? Oh, sorry, guys. I've just been reading from Twitter, so this is the only picture that I've shared. So, you know, I have been reading things that are on Twitter. There you go. Look at that. Yeah, I've shared my screen now, guys. I've shared it, guys. Look at that. Look at him. You can see now, you guys. You can. I can see it on my screen. He looks pretty arrogant. He so does. He so does. That's just terrible. Any truth to the rumour that a cat walked by and tripped the neighbour's Ring camera that recorded Murphy? Oh, who knows? Yeah, they're going to question the dog's involvement. Everybody's going to go for Dylan now, aren't they? Everybody's going to go for Dylan now. I hope they don't. Let's wait and see. Jail refuses to buy new pots and pans. I love it. I love it. Wow. It's making me eat off the floor. I'm not feeling good about this guy at all. Significant evidence was left behind. You're not kidding me. You're not kidding me. They've got everything. Surviving roommate heard a male voice saying, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." I've looked into that. Was there any connection between the ex-soldier who was killed by the SWAT team in Pullman, the same apartment complex? It wasn't the same apartment complex. It was about 2 miles away. It was the other side of the university grounds, and there's no connection that I could find between that soldier, the ex-soldier who shot it was shot by a SWAT team on December the 14th, and Washington State University. So I don't think it was connected. And this phone ping trail is amazing. So good. Look at all them lot waiting to get in. I'm very surprised he just walked past Dylan. Seems like a pretty bad job of how to get away with murder on his part. So left a witness alive. I mean, I'm glad he did, but left a witness alive and left the sheath of the murder weapon on one of the victims' beds. So Bethany was in her room. Bethany was sleeping on the first floor. Bethany was in her room. We don't know what she heard. She may have just been asleep and not heard anything. We don't know. But she was on the first floor. So I'm going to share this affidavit one more time so that you can go and read this yourself if you want to. Download it from the court's website. And then I'm going to go and defry my brain, I think. That's what I'm going to do. Cecile, thank you for the $4.99. Do I think it was Brian driving behind the reporter on November 14th? I don't know. I'm going to have to go and look. I don't know what report you mean. Oh, I think I know what you mean. Well, they've got his cell phone pings for November 14th, so they didn't mention that he was there on November 14th, but that's after, so I don't really care what happened afterwards, honestly, other than he returned to the scene at 9 o'clock in the morning on that same day, and I'm interested in where he went afterwards, as in, did he go and hide evidence? Did he go and hide the knife? Did he go and put his clothes in a trash bin somewhere? Those kind of things I'm interested in. But honestly, we know he was seen on multiple cameras, so he's there in the area. So I don't really care about that. Thank you, Mandy, for the 35 ZAR, South African Rand. How could he be that stupid? Is there a possibility he wanted to get caught and as an opportunity to gain fame? Yes, that's possible. I guess that's possible. But who knows? Who knows? Think he was in a blind rage. Yeah, he's going to probably claim he's in some sort of dissociative state. That might be the angle that they take. That, oh, he walked past an eyewitness who was in a dissociative state. He didn't remember it. He didn't remember any of it, which is going to be absolute nonsense because he went back to the scene at 9 o'clock. So whatever. I don't believe that at all. But possibly he was in some kind of rage or euphoria. Let's call it a dissociative euphoria. Let's call it that. And he didn't see her, but that's just nuts. Sleep killing. Yeah. Commit a quadruple murder in your sleep. Oh, there's definitely going to be a Netflix on this. I can see it coming. There's definitely going to be a Netflix on this. Could be. He has claimed, though, he did claim in Pennsylvania that he didn't have any mental health conditions. When he signed the waiver to get transferred back from Pennsylvania to Idaho, he was asked, did he have any mental health conditions? And he said no. So there's that. Yeah, you go and hit replay because there's a lot. There's a lot. What if he was using Ambien? I've heard people do crazy stuff on Ambien sometimes, certainly not making it. How many thousands and thousands of people use a multitude of drugs that he could claim he was on, don't commit quadruple murders? So none of that interests me at all. He can claim what he wants. He can claim what he wants. I don't even know where to start. I don't know where to start. He's just been either really careless or he's been really... He can claim he was in some kind of psychotic state. But I personally don't believe it. I think he was careless. That's just my opinion. I think he was a rubbish criminal. And this guy was so rubbish, he's got caught. And thank everything that's holy that he did, because I am convinced he would have gone on to commit more murders. And absolutely convinced about that. I'm not going to waver from that. I'm really not. I'm not going to waver from it at all. Lots of people talking about Dylan. Oh dear. All right, guys, I'm going to go because I want to go and watch some of the coverage that's come out. I want to go and listen to what other people are saying. I've answered this question loads of times. I don't think he's a serial killer. I've never thought he's a serial killer. I've thought he's a budding serial killer, that if he hadn't been caught, he would have gone on to commit more murders. I'm more inclined to think that he might have committed crimes before, but lower level crimes. So crimes that didn't involve murder. I'm more convinced about that than him. I mean, this is so sloppy and so careless. If he committed a murder before, I think he would have been caught before. This was so sloppy. So bad. So bad. So much that he did wrong that I think if he committed a murder before, he would have been caught. But that's just my opinion. I don't know. All right, guys, I'm going to go. So thank you so much for staying with me throughout this live that's almost 3 hours. Thank you for that. If you're just coming in, all right, you go and mod on WFLA. I'm going to be going watching WFLA right now. Right now. That's what I'm going to do. So thank you for being respectful. Thank you for the generosity, all the donations. Welcome to the new members. Thank you so much to the moderators. You're amazing. And I'll see you very soon. There'll be a video coming out tomorrow once I've had a chance to digest some of this with my thoughts. All right, guys. I'll see you later. See you soon.